Two by two, the cars are working their way now into turn 3 as we're getting ready for the start of this one. And Steve, again, 301 miles.
Yeah, 3 stages. The first and the second stage, 45 laps each. So they can run all of those without a pit stop. The final stage longer, though. It'll require a pit stop to make it on fuel.
And how many of these races, as we get through the rounds of the playoffs, have we seen early lap accidents? Drivers pushing really hard, trying to make something happen. You want to go right here, but you don't want to cross that line.
Brandon Jones on the inside on the yellow, number 9. Cole Custer in the 00 on the outside. Jones getting a little pressure from the 81 of Chandler Smith early. Side by side for third behind them. We're seeing debris. There is so much wind in the area here. We've seen a lot of dust, sand, debris on the racetrack blowing around.
This mess back here, that 21 car, red, white, blue car on the bottom. Austin Hill, the worst qualifying driver of the guys in the playoffs, started in 16th back here in this mess.
And that's when your nerves are the highest. You mentioned it, didn't qualify well. The only playoff driver outside the top 10 as we see pole sitter Brandon Jones, that yellow 9, continue to lead. Custer, Chandler Smith, Sammy Smith.
There's the Ford Performance onboard of Cole Custer as he looks back on Chandler Smith, just past him for that second spot. Now he's closing in on the 9 of Brandon Jones. A little further back, going the wrong direction. The 7 of Allgaier. Jesse Love and the 2 on the outside of him.
Jesse Love trying to get the outside of Allgaier's got that spot. Now, see that 7 car going backwards. He is definitely not in the groove you want to be in down here. Marty.
Jeff, if you're with us with NASCAR Countdown Live, you heard one of the drivers mention this race is a little bit later than it normally is. So that means the sunset will be a major factor. Eddie DeHaan, the spotter for Justin Allgaier, asked him about that before the race. Listen in.
Hey, can you see okay in that sun? Oh, no, it's brutal, but put a bunch of tape on the windshield. Life's going to be fine. Copy that.
All right, Jeff, so behind the wheel, when you're dealing with that sunset, how do you combat it? And there's now a caution on the track.
Yeah, caution on the racetrack. We saw the 42 was slow. The 14 of J.J. Yaley is having an issue. 92 of Dawson Cram, if you're a Dawson Cram fan, he didn't even make it to the green flag. They had transmission issues, and now he's behind the wall. But a lot of damage to Leland Honeyman here.
See at the far right of your screen, just really sideways. This is entering 1. I think we're going to have a big correction back to the right here. Oh, he gets it back under control. So I'm not sure what happened. I think there's separate incidents, and then the next lap around, the 42 kind of goes up, catches the 14, makes contact.
You saw the 18 of Sheldon Creed. He's starting in the back. He had to change an engine yesterday, so expect to see him in the front.
A lot of damage to the 42 of Leland Honeyman Jr., J.J. Yaley, obviously with a little bit of damage after the contact with the 42. First caution's out already. CW Sports coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express Card, and by Toyota. Let's go places. Beautiful scenery out here in the desert, as well as on the strip. And a lot of race fans able to enjoy racing this weekend as the round of 8 is underway. Didn't take long for the first caution to come out here. Leland Honeyman, as well as the 14 of J.J. Yaley involved.
A little surprised Brandon Jones chose the bottom here. The preferred line in 1 and 2 is the outside. If Cole Custer can leave the restart zone and stay door to door with Brandon Jones, I would think he would be in the preferred position.
This is where he started the race, so he's thought it worked the first time. Let's see if he can do it again.
A little bit on the tires.
Brandon Jones in that 9 on the inside, Cole Custer on the outside, the 00. See if Sammy Smith has as good a start as he did earlier. This time that outside line stays a little more aggressive, and right away Brandon Jones gets swallowed up. Prophetic call there, Mr. Burton.
Well, not the way I thought it was going to happen.
Brandon Jones as well. Probably thought his teammate was going to stay in line. The 8 got a great start, decided to turn left. Sammy Smith, though, playoff driver. I like the aggression, and now has control of the race.
Chandler Smith also is going to go by Brandon Jones.
Look at that mess, 4 wide.
Coming into turn 1, they'll try to get it settled. Eric Almirola now in the middle of 3 wide. Allgaier down, had the left side tires on the white line.
Sam Mayer, the white car, though, backing up in the middle, losing a ton of spots on this restart. Last week's winner, that big walk-off win to advance in the playoffs. And he's still under attack. This one car just cannot find grip in the tires.
That front stretch they've talked about, we've heard driver spotters all saying it's difficult to see when they come out of turn 4 and go down the front stretch, as we see Sammy Smith under fire right now from Cole Custer in the 00. For the lead, those 2 cars separated by 2 car lengths now.
Sammy Smith in this 8 car yesterday in practice was really fast on a long run and short run speed. Now he has the lead. It's going to be tough work for Cole Custer to get by.
First lap's led for Sammy Smith here at Las Vegas. And we're noticing Cole Custer taking different lines through the turns. He was high through one turn, then he was below Sammy in the other turn. Now he's going to go high again here in 3 and 4.
Yeah, he's looking for a little bit of clean air, trying to pick the lane that Sammy is not going in.
There's that sun we were talking about. Local time here is 4:45. Sunset at 6. So they've got to deal with it a little while until it drops behind the grandstand. Cole Custer has the tinted visor on his helmet. We're riding along with Ford Performance on board, looking back at him. There's when the sun's right in his eyes. All right, Jeff, how does he pass him? Just like this?
He's got a good run right now. Going to side draft him, try to slow him down on corner exit. Sammy Smith's going to do the same down the back, try to slow him down. Didn't quite get it done.
Custer out front at Vegas. Cole Custer, defending Xfinity Series champion, knows that in 2025 he'll be racing in the Cup Series for the Haas Factory team, and now wants to go out as a 2-time Xfinity Series champion and hopes to get that locked-in spot at the end of today's race.
Good run off the exit 2.
Sam Mayer fell all the way back to 14th. And here comes Sammy Smith, looking to the inside, trying to duplicate what Cole Custer did to him just a lap and a half ago.
Yeah, last time in 1 and 2, the 00 ran the middle of the racetrack, which I actually like, going around the bumps. Doesn't go all the way to the bottom, but the 8 goes all the way to the bottom and got a run. This time the 00 goes all the way to the white line, shuts that air off, and that's going to give him an advantage over the 8-corner exit.
Parker Kligerman was all the way up against the wall in that bottom box, that 48, leading this 4-car pack. At the back of it is Sam Mayer. Marty?
Yeah, overall, Rick, 4th to 14th for Sam Mayer. So he talked about on the initial start of the race that he was 100% wide open all the way around the track and barely keeping up with anyone. So, Steve, could that possibly be a downforce selection on the 1 car that maybe would help them a little bit later in the race but might hurt them on restarts?
Well, I actually think if that's the issue, later in the race is going to be even worse, because if it's too draggy, when the sun goes down, this track is only going to get faster. I would have to say it's probably a young driver feeling the pressure of the playoffs, maybe exaggerating a little bit of what he's doing. When we were on board with the 00, he was completely out of the gas, even using just a touch of brake in 3 and 4. So I know what Sam Mayer's saying. He's talking about the overall, his raw speed, just straight line speed isn't high enough. But if it is an aero setting, the sun setting isn't going to help that. It's actually going to make it worse.
We see turns 1 and 2 are in the shade already.
Yeah, a few laps ago, Allmendinger, Allgaier, Chandler Smith. Look at Chandler Smith. Now, don't know if that was contact or not. Struggling in the middle of the corner. Here comes Allgaier. Gets the air off the back of that 81. Chandler Smith is not happy right now. Let's listen.
That's 0. Rear grip all the way through 3 and 4.
Copy that. Just manage it. Just manage it until we can get you fixed up here.
Dude, this thing is so loose. It's unbelievable.
So it's loose. I'm pretty sure what I'll decipher that and let everyone know.
No, exactly what did you say, Rick?
It was loose.
Okay, loose.
So, and he looked like he had his hands full even before the 7 got to his back bumper.
Oh, he's just like he said, he was loose, and then all of a sudden the 7 gets there, and now he's got all the air pulled off the rear spoiler.
Austin Hill in that 21, all the way down on the apron. There's no out of bounds here at Vegas. He's able to clear the 48 of Parker Kligerman. Now, Sam Mayer trying to make up some ground after he lost 10 spots from the start of this race. Cole Custer out front. Shift into high gear with your chance to win an all-access Daytona 500 experience. Scan the QR code or visit NASCAR.com/racking up the wins. Now to enter. Brandon Jones running in the second spot. Allgaier is third, and Sammy Smith fourth. So right now, Junior Motorsports feeling pretty good about 3 inside the top 5. But they're still chasing after Cole Custer, who is up front, has a 1.6 second advantage over Jones. See the 42 of Leland Honeyman back out on the track. He's been on pit road a couple times. Honeyman being scored 5 laps down. Now it is Dawson Cram. He was able to get back out on the racetrack after working on the transmission issue they had.
I think Allgaier's a little better here than the 9. He's just trying to find the best way to work his way by. 18 laps to go in the stage. The 9 doing a nice job of kind of running his own lane, not giving the 7 any real space on the bottom of the racetrack.
Steve, fuel not an issue for stage 1 or 2?
No, 45 laps they can run no problem. They can run about 60 laps, so that final stage they'll have to do a pit stop, but this is just a 45 lap Saturday night A main feature right here.
Which for the 8 playoff drivers, very important, because at the end of each stage, you get stage points, or the opportunity if you finish inside the top 10 for stage points. And again, we know for a fact that 1 driver out of the 8 is going to make it on points.
Allgaier restarted 16th. And he's driven up here to 3rd, Marty.
Yeah, he's been so impressive, Jeff, working his way up through the field. And I chatted with Jim Polman, his crew chief, yesterday, and I said, man, what a miserable last 4 weeks for you guys. He quickly corrected me. He said, you mean last miserable 6 weeks for us. He said, it has been so tough. And he said, I could see my driver and just his countenance and how he was really getting down on himself. But after the race at the Roval, when he knew that we had advanced to the round of 8, I saw my old driver back. I saw that pep in his step, and that's how he's been all week long. And Jeff, this is the Justin Allgaier that we saw much of the year. They were missing for the playoffs, but it looks like they have the speed. Can they finish it off and finally get to Phoenix and maybe win a championship?
Well, maybe he's got that horseshoe that his grandpa always used to carry around. Now that it's painted on the side of the helmet, thanks to Harper and Willow, his 2 daughters. Maybe it's good luck now.
Well, I think the key to Allgaier, when you've had the speed that they've had and they haven't been able to really capitalize on it, is getting off to a strong start in this round, right? They just haven't had them. They haven't had what we expect to see from this 7 car. Doesn't even have to be a win, but it needs to be a super competitive chance to win kind of day with no mistakes. And I think they can leave here feeling really good about their opportunity to win a championship.
Only 14 to go in the stage. It goes by very quickly. These 2 are battling for 2nd. A couple other cars. Herb's running there in 4th. Got that big win here a year ago. And look at this battle right here. The 8 of Sammy Smith, the 16 of Allgaier. Right behind the 16 is the 28 of Ryan Sieg. Good speed in that 28 car.
Really good speed. I'm going to tell you something about good speed. Jones and Allgaier, they're running Custer down pretty hard right here. Couple tenths a lap those last few laps. Allgaier's changed his line a little bit.
Winning of the stage normally would mean playoff points, but they don't carry any points into the race at Phoenix. So it's winner take all, or whoever finishes in front of the other 3 is the champion. As we see SVG on pit road with the hood up.
Yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen and Rick out of the playoffs after last week at the Roval, and he said the engine just completely shut off. He said it completely died and he has no fuel pressure, so he limped it back to pit road. They're going to try and diagnose exactly what's going on with the 97 as they work on it right now. He says it won't turn over, it won't crank.
And I'm sure that's frustrating for him. It's at a racetrack where he's been before, so he always likes to learn as much as he can on the ovals, knowing that he's going cup racing next year. So just try to get a little more familiar with the tracks. Brandon Jones now under 0.4 of a second off of Cole Custer, and the caution has come out for the 2nd time. Dylan Lupton and the 15 off the pace.
In there, got off early, and the thing just went to the wall.
running 35th at the time. And that's not a good sign when you're pushing the guy back, probably behind the wall. So unfortunate for SVG, who has won 3 times already in 2024. As was mentioned, no longer a part of the round of 8 or the playoffs. Was eliminated after the round of 12.
Interesting timing for this yellow. 10 laps to go in the stage. You know, if this was in the regular season, I think we would have a real split decision here. I believe all the playoff drivers are going to have to stay out and try to get these stage points at the end of the stage. Let's see what happens to the 15 of Dylan Lupton. He's pretty high right there. Just kind of up into the wall, right side contact. But Jeff, if you're the non-playoff guys like Brandon Jones or Riley Herbst, Ryan Sieg, you know, do you just go ahead and get your pit stop done now? We'll probably only run like 7 green flag laps to finish the stage. Goodyear tires do fall off a little, but not enough that with a heat cycle. I wouldn't have any problem having 7 laps on my tires to start the next stage. You can connect it all the way from here, looking at the math of laps. So I don't think this just is an easy stay out. Now, there's not normally a ton of strategy in these Xfinity races. We'll see if the front of the field splits on their decision here with only a few laps to go in stage 1.
We're along with Corey Heim there in the Toyota onboard, and
there you go. The playoff drivers are starting.
Quickly we see Custer, Allgaier, and making their way onto Progressive Pit Road, Kim.
Yeah, and crew chief Jonathan Toney gave the layout of what this lap count looks like to the end of the stage. Said it's exactly falling into our plan. Cole reporting I'm still tight center, losing the back on entry and exit. No grip, he said mainly the right front, so they will make an air pressure adjustment for fresh Goodyear tires to no go fuel, Marty.
Tim, it was not the plan for Jim Pullman and Justin Allgaier. They would have preferred to have taken the stage points here. But Pullman said on the radio, I don't think we have much choice. We have to pit here. Allgaier did say a left side vibration towards the end of that run. Also, his helmet hose has fallen off of his helmet inside the car, so he's not getting cool air to his head. Meanwhile, Sam Mayer said his car was a little bit too tight and a little too edgy on corner exit. Those JRM cars pitting here, Rick.
So coming off of Progressive Pit Road, and maybe a couple guys gambling on some strategy here. You know, the average gambling budget in Las Vegas is $787. Some of us went over that this weekend. News Nation Thursday. JD Vance and Chris Cuomo in Battleground, Michigan. And you get to ask the questions with a live studio audience. Watch the special News Nation Town Hall. That's Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, only on News Nation and streaming on X.
So the split field means that these cars near the front are all on old tires. First car on new tires, the 00, who'll be a little bit further back in the field. It'll be interesting to see. There he is, about row 7 or 8, 9. You know, this track is wide enough that those new Goodyears have enough grip. You're going to see him climbing this banking, trying to get positions right away. Can he get up inside the top 10 and still score points?
There'll be 6 laps to go in stage 1, so not a lot of time to take advantage of that good in the Goodyears. This time Brandon Jones is taking that outside line. I think he was listening, Jeff.
Green flag, come.
But he didn't get a good start. And right away, Riley Herbst jumps in front of him. AJ Allmendinger on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yep.
And he's sliding up the racetrack, 3 wide behind him.
Wow, that was tight.
Now 4 wide as they come onto the backstretch.
Right along the bottom right-hand screen. Cole Custer trying to make some magic happen.
Well, he gets to the outside of the 48, 4 wide. He's going to be somewhere up inside the top 7 in just 1 lap. The 00 could win the stage.
Almirola got into the wall in the 20. Coming off the 4, he slid up the racetrack. Chandler Smith in the 81, he's falling back. Almirola tags the wall coming out of turn 4, and now Cole Custer's going to try to get by him on the outside.
Bumper, clear.
And this is the beauty of Las Vegas. Look at 00. He has real estate to go. Climbs the hill, air, getting to the nose of this 00 is going to help it turn on corner exit. He'll have a run on the front stretch.
Is it possible that he comes to pit road, gets 4 fresh tires, and maybe wins the stage? 4 laps to go.
If he doesn't, it's still okay. What a restart. What a move by that 00. We were on board for all of it when he just kind of rim rode both ends of the racetrack.
15th to 4th in 2 laps.
The 7's chasing him right there. Remember, the other car, if pit road, the 9 slides up, they're going to get split. 7 at the bottom, 00 up top.
Allgaier able to clear Brandon Jones as well. He takes 3rd. Now, 3 laps to go. Can Riley Herbst hold him off?
No, it's just a question of which one's going to win, the 0 or the 00 or the 7.
And they know it. Here comes Allgaier to the left rear of the 00. He's got forward momentum on him. He's going to drive to the bottom.
Look at Cole Custer going deep into turn 3. He's going to go right by the 98.
What a decision for tires, and what a job by Cole Custer. That could be the playoff difference. 10 points. You get a bad restart, you don't get stage points. He's going to get 10 points if he can win this stage.
What he'd like to do is slow down right now to not put more wear and heat in these tires so they last longer at the beginning of the next stage. But he can't, because Justin Allgaier, on the same strategy, he's pushing to try to get this win.
Allgaier hungry. He started the round of 8 with the most playoff points coming in, so that put him at the top of the list. Look at this back here. Jesse Love in the middle. And that number 2, Almirola in the 20. He has fallen back just a bit. Again, a little contact. Turn 4 wall.
On the bottom, those guys are still trying to figure out points as well. Sorry, Rick, but that one of Sam Mayer right behind the 21, that red, white, and blue car of Austin Hill.
Last shot at it. Here comes Allgaier. And Cole Custer slams the door, and both of them get a little bit loose coming off of turn 4. It's going to be Custer that is going to win stage 1.
And a mess on the bottom of the screen. Look at that.
2 playoff drivers that stayed out trying to get stage points. Chandler Smith, Sammy Smith, neither got points.
4th stage win for Cole Custer this season. As Steve mentioned, 10 stage points for winning that stage, but so much chaos on the restart. Fresh tires, old tires, and then there's Almirola getting into the wall. Custer wins stage 1 in Vegas.
Welcome back to Las Vegas. Stage 1 completed and pit stops underway on Progressive Pit Road. Brandon Jones, top of your screen, went from 2nd to 9th on that restart. His only complaint, I am out of the racetrack. 4 tires and fuel for him, Kim.
Middle of your screen, the 16 of AJ Allmendinger. You saw the chassis adjustment. He said no rear grip at all. He said it fired off okay, but gets worse after 12 laps. But it's a wobble more than a loose feeling, Marty. They took tires as well as fuel.
3rd for Las Vegas native Riley Herbst in stage 1. He said, I felt like we worked the right front way too hard at the beginning of the run. And then he said at the end of the run, I just need more overall grip. 4 tires for the 98.
And the race off Progressive Pit Road has Herbst winning that battle. And again, there were quite a few that stayed out that had pitted on lap 36. So we will shake the order up once again as the playoffs and the round of 8 are well underway. Stage 1 complete from Las Vegas. It was Cole Custer who wins. Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas. You know, over 40 million visitors visit Las Vegas each year. Want to take a look at today's Snapchat driver update, and we'll look at Ryan Ellis. Congratulations. He's going to drive for DGM Racing full-time in the Xfinity Series next season. That was just announced a couple days ago. Paint scheme inspired by Snapchat's More Loves, Less Likes campaign, with the goal to bring a little more love into everyone's lives. Steve?
Good looking car. I have to go to my college-age daughter for all my Snapchat info.
Popular?
Yeah, oh yeah, yep. She gives it 2 thumbs up. It's approved. Getting
ready for the restart. It's Allgaier on the inside. Cole Custer has the outside and is the control car as they go back up through the gears. And look at this. 3 wide. going into turn one. Allgaier staying to the inside of that double zeros. Those two fight for the lead.
Now remember, the front 6 or 8 cars do have 7 laps on their tires.
Jesse Love and the 2 moved out of line, and Allgaier's going to pull away. Now it's Justin Allgaier leading in Vegas.
Restarts are so aggressive.
Sam Mayer's made up some room in the 1. He's back up inside the top 5, it looks like. See the stage points earned in the lower left screen there with Cole Custer in the win. Again, top 10 all receiving stage points. Wow, the 16 of Allmendinger is really loose still.
Loose, and the tubing on his right side door does not help. These Xfinity Series cars makes a ton of side force, meaning they lean on that right side of the car. The air pushes on it like a crutch, so when that 2 is right there on the quarter panel, kind of like kicking that crutch out from underneath you. Luckily, the 16 is able to control it, work its way by the 2.
Brandon Jones, after starting on the pole. Jones currently in the 11th position, trying to fight his way back up. There's Chandler Smith and Jesse Love, a couple of the young drivers here in the Xfinity Series, fighting to be a part of the Championship 4.
Chandler Smith was happy to see that stage in come. His car was not driving anywhere near the way he wanted it to. Hoping to be able to make some changes to get it like he's happy with it.
Allmendinger again dives down to the bottom of the racetrack. Now he's going to have some pressure from the 81. Chandler Smith right on his back bumper. Sam Mayer on his outside. Allmendinger's getting boxed in here. Chandler Smith trying to figure out if Mayer's going to be able to clear Dylan.
And as Chandler Smith looks for an opening here, we heard that radio early in stage 1 with him talking about how loose his race car was. He came on the radio too before that stage 1 caution and told his crew chief Jeff Mendering, just give me something to lean on and I'll blow these guys' doors off. So I think he's much happier with his race car now. He's been on the move since this restart, up a couple spots already.
Like that sort of feedback you get so many times. The driver's just unsure of what they need, but when the driver can be really emphatic on how close the car is, I just need the car to do this better, this one thing better, it helps the crew chief's job so much.
Creed, that's Sheldon Creed, up to the 3rd position. Remember, he started all the way at the back, didn't even qualify yesterday as they had an engine issue in practice, so they had to change that. He starts in the back, but felt like he had a good car before they had the engine problems. Riley Herbst, last year's winner in the 98, trying to look underneath that 21 of Austin Hill. RCR well represented in these playoffs. Austin Hill in the 21, as well as Jesse Love in the 2.
You mentioned the back. That's where Sheldon Creed started. Well, unfortunately for Eric Almirola in the 20 car, that's where he started this stage. He was under penalty for basically interference. His car interfered with another pit stop. So we take a look. The 9's pulling in. The 20's going to go by. If we pause it right here, you see this orange box. It's a little hard to make out, but that's a reference for NASCAR. If the 20 drives over that orange box, that means he's far enough away from the 9 car that they would just say that's the confines of pit road. That's what happens. But because the 20 is so far to the left of that orange box, looking at it from this camera angle, they feel he is now impinged on the 9 space, what the 9 should expect to have. Therefore, it's interference on Eric Almirola. You have to wonder if that sun, you see how bright that picture is? I wonder if that sun made a difference, Dylan.
It sure did. In fact, Eric came on the radio and said the glare off of the concrete was so bright I couldn't really see where I was going. So that was why he cut into the 9 pit box kind of early there. Good news is they are really, really happy with their race car. Almirola was on the move before the end of stage 1 and is carving his way forward again.
And Steve, is that a safety thing as far as those guys? You saw the tire carrier. He was within inches of that tire carrier.
Basically, I think NASCAR saw that drivers didn't want to endanger pit crew members, but if you were racing somebody from the lead, you would kind of you know, crowd them a little bit. So a couple years ago, they put those reference points on pit road. They're not inbounds and out of bounds. It only matters if there's a car in that box. But the idea is to give the drivers and NASCAR some reference points to give you an idea like, hey, this is what we're going to use. And you heard Almirola, it's a vision thing with the sun, but we don't see it a lot, a couple times a year.
A little momentum here out of Brandon Jones as he looks to the inside of Sam Mayer. Jones moves up to do a little side drafting, pull the one back, and Jones clears him. Pretty tight here as we see Sheldon Creed tucked in behind A.J. Allmendinger. Chandler Smith just behind them. And only 18 laps into this stage 2. Allgaier now has a 3-second lead over second place Cole Custer. So it's Allgaier, Custer, Ryan Sieg running up in the 3rd position. Allmendinger and Chandler Smith, the top 5. This Tuesday, WWE NXT is bringing the speed with the special guest. Yes, that's right. Our very own NASCAR Xfinity Series champion Cole Custer is going to join the action. You don't want to miss it. WWE NXT Tuesday at 8/7 Central, right here on the CW. He's been practicing his stone cold moves, and he has been very quick today. The Xfinity fastest lap turned by Cole Custer on lap 2. Averaging around this 1.5 miles over 178 miles an hour. You were just a couple miles an hour slower than that on the way out here, Steve.
Well, Rick, I didn't want to miss the meeting. You know.
This one car, Sam Mayer, he's not had a good day. He just hasn't had the pace. Last few laps, several guys have gotten by him.
It's been messy too, right? Like not just the pace, but he's kind of got caught up in some weird traffic situations.
Yeah.
Working by the 19, Taylor Gray. Gray running 12th right now. It was announced he'll be running full time for JGR in 2024 for the Xfinity Series.
You see Gray, how much quicker he is on corner exit than Mayer. Mayer doing a nice job, kind of taking his line away from him right there, running on the very bottom of the racetrack.
We talk so much about the bumps. That was a good example there. It looked like Taylor Gray went through the bumps and it shot his race car up the racetrack. Creed's decided the wall is where he wants to be. Through 3 and 4 all the way up the racetrack. Sammy Smith in the 8. He's hugging the white line down there through 1 and 2. Sammy running in the 9th position. So right now, playoff drivers inside the top 10 are Allgaier, Allmendinger, Custer, Chandler Smith, Love, and Sammy Smith, as well as Sam Mayer has moved up into that 10th spot.
How about the 20 car of Amarola after that penalty?
11th fighting for 10th. Kim, what about Allmendinger?
Yeah, currently up to the 2nd position after restarting 11th. And when he took the green flag on this run, his spotter, Coleman Presley, said, "You are the first driver on the newest tires. You're set up for the long run. You can pass all of these guys." He has been methodically picking them off. And this team told me they were a little disheartened after their Kansas show not showing up. And so they got to Vegas. When they realized it was going to be cooler temperatures, they went to the drawing board and said, we could just kind of tweak on what we had in Vegas in the spring versus what we used in Kansas a couple of weeks ago. Right now, A.J. Allmendinger, no complaints so far this run, Dylan.
Well, Sheldon Creed was up inside the top 5 at one point after starting at the back. They lost an engine yesterday in practice and then pitted at the lap 36 yellow to took tires, and they got the track position that they were so desperately needing. Problem is now those tires are starting to give up on the 18 car, and they have fallen out of the top 10 and run 13th right now. They also had some trash on the grill that Sheldon had to work to get off. They've got that taken care of, just trying to get to the end of this stage now, Marty.
Dylan, for all the confidence Austin Hill and his team had coming into Las Vegas, it has not shown up during the race. In fact, since the restart just a moment ago, he has lost 11 positions. He just radioed to Andy Street just a moment ago. He said it is extremely loose on entry, and it will not turn for anything in the middle of the corner as well. He said, in fact, he thinks they went the wrong way on the last adjustment they made. He said the last stop messed up the entry pretty bad. So, Jeff, when you're free on entry at Las Vegas, how much is that a compounding factor to lose time for the rest of the lap?
Free on entry on mile and a half is very difficult to deal with. The only thing you can do is you can change your angle of approach, but you have to slow the car down. You just cannot attack. And when you cannot drive in the corner with good pace, well, that messes up the rest of the corner, because now the car is not compressed into the racetrack, it's not traveled, and the car doesn't drive well anywhere.
So Hill fighting that as he tries to figure out how to break inside the top 15. Next week, it's a great day of CW Sports Saturday action. First, it's ACC football as North Carolina will head to Charlottesville, take on Virginia. Then it's off to Homestead, Miami, as NASCAR Xfinity Series playoff takes one step closer to crowning a champion. CW Sports Saturday, that's next week starting at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on the CW.
It's a great day, an Xfinity race and a Carolina loss.
Wow.
Wow.
That's an early call. I believe that's an early call.
Well, I'm pretty excited for UNLV Oregon State later tonight. UNLV 5-1. We're here in Vegas.
Yep.
Might have to show some support for the UNLV team.
Marty, what's going on with the 7? Are they having vibrations again?
Yeah, Rick, I can't believe Burton went there with the Carolina loss, just right off the graphic. It was pretty incredible. So, hey, it's been an eventful stage 2 for Justin Allgaier, for a guy who's had a pretty big lead. One, they had some debris on the grill earlier. Temps got up around 250. They got that debris off. Temps back down to normal now. But yeah, Rick, you mentioned the vibration. It has cropped up once again. About 4 laps ago, Justin Allgaier said vibration is back. He feels like it's on the left side. So, Steve, now this is the second set of tires. Justin Allgaier has said 35 laps in, I have a vibration. If you're Jim Pullman, you getting a little bit worried about that?
Well, you definitely don't feel great about it. I mean, it's the playoffs. Everything is more nerve-wracking. But, without any, visual damage to the tire, I think they should be okay. You maybe would adjust maybe your green flag pit stop in the next stage by 4 or 5 laps to be a little safer. But, at this point, it's not a whole lot you could do.
We saw the number of laps led as far as Allgaier in the all-time world. He's 4th right now all-time for laps led in the Xfinity Series. He's currently 10th for all-time wins at 25. He's led 35 laps already with 4 to go here in stage 2. Eric Almirola in the 20, rolling along as Almirola has made his way up to 7th.
From 35th.
Yes.
So if you're on the pit box, you better be paying attention to this 20 car, understanding the pace that he has. Because eventually you're going to have to deal with him. He has great pace. He's able to pass a lot of cars. Fastest car on the racetrack that lap.
20 car with John Hunter Nemechek behind the wheel, won here in the spring. Again, it's been a wide variety of drivers, 5 different drivers behind the wheel. The 24 of them have won twice, including Eric Almirola. Now under 2 laps to go in stage 2 as we see the 48 of Parker Kligerman. He's making up some ground. Kligerman up to 12th now. He'll go by the 8 of Sammy Smith. But while he does that, Taylor Gray goes by him on the outside.
Yeah, right front skirt on the 8 car looks like it's broken and flapping a little bit. Not a huge detail, but the field is so close in speed that, all those little things add up.
Tell you, Allgaier with this lead, he's had a little bit of trouble getting by this lap traffic. Allmendinger's wearing him down. I don't think Allmendinger has enough time, but he has closed the gap.
It's under a second. It was over 3 seconds was the gap. There's that skirt. It looks like, is it just the wrap that's flapping there?
I can't tell. The skirt itself is not very thick. This is the traffic you talked about right here. It's only about 1/8 of an inch thick on that plastic. So we'll have to just see what the 8 does. This is going to be close right here to the line.
Out of turn 4. 16 made it pretty close. Wasn't able to get there. But it's Allgaier winning stage 2. There's 10 more points. Allmendinger grabs 9. Ryan Siegel get 8. That's Allgaier's 16th stage win of 2024. Second most all time in a season. So now it was Custer, then Allgaier winning the stages. CW Sports coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by Snapchat. Less likes, more love, more Snapchat. Progressive, save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Corey Heim coming on to pit road now. We see that with his Toyota on board. And we'll go to Progressive Pit Road and Dylan.
Chandler Smith at the top of the screen said we were a little bit better on that run, got closer to where we needed to end, but still wants a little bit more front turn. They're going to go half of the adjustment they made last time, 4 tires and fuel. Kim?
Great stage for AJ Allmendinger finishing second. You see him there in the middle, 16 car. He said losing turn, too tight center off, especially on throttle. He's going to ask for it to be freed up in the back. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, no-go fuel, Marty.
Stage win for Justin Allgaier, who's going to lose some spots here on pit road. He said, I'm fighting a little bit of everything, so I'm not sure what to tell you to do. So Jim Pullman said, we'll just adjust for the track, and we'll watch you go to work. They only lose 1 spot here on pit road, Rick.
Yeah, that race off of Progressive Pit Road, pretty tight. Allmendinger grabs a spot. Allgaier loses 1. You know, the first hotel and casino in Las Vegas was in 1905, the Golden Gate Hotel and Casino. How was the room, Jeff? Next Saturday, the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs continue as the drive to a championship takes shape. See which of the 8 remaining drivers make their run to the title. It's NASCAR Xfinity Series playoff racing from Homestead, Miami. That's next Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, only on the CW. Kim.
Yeah, and let's take a look at Ryan Sieg the day he's having a little bit of a slow stop on that last stop, but they got on the radio, told him we have no doubt that you can pick up the positions. Currently in the 7th position after finishing that stage in the top 3. And Ryan Sieg is great when it comes to mile and a half, especially this season. 3 top 10s in the last 4 mile and a half tracks. And remember, he was oh so close to making the playoffs with his finish at Texas. Lost that race. One of the closest finishes in NASCAR history to Sam Mayer. Still looking for that first Xfinity Series win. That car very good. No big complaints, Dylan. He said he was good that run. No issues. Didn't get super tight. He said it's just fine.
Well, from one Ryan to another, let's do another Snapchat driver update on Ryan Ellis. Already told you he'll be full-time next year with DGM Racing. He credited spotter Brandon Lines with helping him improve his mile and a half and intermediate track performance throughout this year. Brandon's a pretty good one. Spots for William Byron on Sunday, on Sundays, won the Daytona 500 earlier this year. So good voice to have in your ear for Ellis.
And we talked about that paint scheme, fun, colorful composition. Highlights the power of self-expression, trying to bring the importance of connection, fans and friends together. So Ryan Ellis in that 43. Scored a lap down, running in the 30th position. It's Allmendinger on the inside in the number 16. Outside of him is Allgaier in the 7 as we get ready for the start of the final stage. Up to the gears they go, and it looks like Allmendinger has the advantage. Around goes Taylor Gray in the 19, and the caution will come out right away.
Man, the 21 of Austin Hill barely snuck by on the outside. Got very fortunate there. You can see the damage on the back of the 19, though. I'm guaranteeing this replay, we're going to find out exactly who sent the 19 around.
They all got stacked up.
Yeah, he's got damage on the front as well.
Let's look back in the pack a little bit. So approaching the restart zone.
Sammy Smith in the 8 behind Gray.
That's a big hit for the 8 on the front bumper. We're going to have to see if there's more damage to that playoff car. Trying to see kind of what stacks it up.
Oh, okay. So if you go back and look at the inside line, starting at the 28 car of Ryan Sieg. Inside line, watch the 9. They all stack up. The 9 doesn't get slowed down. The 19 into the back of him, but it started about row 3.
Now, remind everybody of the restart rules. That 16 of Allgaier, the 7 of Allgaier, the 16 of Allmendinger, they have that entire zone. They just waited to the end of it. That kind of stacked up the cars behind them.
Back at Texas Motor Speedway, and 2 playoff drivers on pit road after suffering damage from that most recent incident. On the top, you see in the red and white 2 car, Jesse Love front nose damage from that. They do put that bear bond, that high-speed duct tape on the front end of that. Marty, his teammate Austin Hill has also had a heck of a day here at Vegas.
Yeah, good and bad news for Austin Hill. Good news, he did miss that accident, as Jeff pointed out on the replay. Barely got through the accident that happened here on the restart in the front stretch just a moment ago. But Austin Hill thought he flat spotted the tires when he got through that accident. Andy Street saying, hey, we're already the lowest running playoff driver. At that point, let's just come to pit road. Let's not take any chances. But a lot of damaged cars here on pit road after that restart accident.
Pretty significant damage to the 8. The real question is, you see, I mean, it's crinkled above the lower ductwork. You wonder if the car itself still will cool well, and that seam up there around the hood, you know, if that hood pin bar is broken, I don't know how well that thing will stay secure.
Looks like the bottom of the entire nose got shifted over. Let's look back at this wreck. About row 3 is really where the stack up starts, and then everything behind it is just a lack of visibility. It just kind of a misunderstanding of when everybody was going to start rolling. Everybody started closing the gap up in front. Let's ride along with the 26 car Toyota Cam. Look how you cannot see. Boom. You have no idea what's happening in front of you. The car directly in front of you can see it, but the car 2 or 3 rows in front, you have no idea what's going on. And the spotter can't respond quick enough to give you that information.
That was caution 5 that put us in this position. Let's listen in on the radio of Sammy Smith.
I mean, I hit him hard. I don't see a gap in the hood, no crumbles, but how's my bumper? Who hit me from behind, the 26? Yeah, the 26. Yeah, I mean, that sucks. Like, I mean, they just stopped. Still a fight. We still have 100 laps to go.
And that's exactly it. They're just reminding Sammy got plenty of time left, half the race still remaining. The tire rub, or there is not a tire rub. They were worried that the damage was going to cause an issue there. No concern on the 8 car for that. Just basically telling Sammy that you got center punched in the back bumper, but everything else is fine.
Well, we'll see if it's fine. I have some concern, I won't lie. But I do agree that the tire rub should be fine. Maybe up on the top of that right front fender, there's a little dent as well. You know, the challenge is, you know, he's running just outside the top 10. You pit and you have repairs go all the way back to the 20s. If this race runs green or you have another accident, you could be in it.
The only issue I have with that is I've been told that everything's fine in the front of the car, just the rear bumper is damaged. Well, that's not going to make the car drive differently. But that nose will. And so now as a driver, I drive into turn 1 thinking everything's good. I just have rear bumper damage. As a driver, I would rather know, hey, your nose is shifted over a little bit. There's a gap. We're going to just have to deal with it. If he thinks this thing is going to drive the way it did before this damage, he is not. It is not going to.
Going over 175 miles an hour with that damage to the front of his car. Well, Thursday night, that is game night on the CW. First, Raven Simone hosts the all-new episode of the classic crossword game Scrabble, followed by a brand new Trivial Pursuit hosted by LeVar Burton. It's Thursday night, game night at 8/7 Central, only on the CW. Been honing up on your Trivial Pursuit questions, Jeff?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready to go.
I have Trivial Pursuit coasters. So
wow, that's a good move.
Yeah, get a little studying.
I have the 1900 category of hotels.
I know, it was a terribly rude shot, especially as we were going to break.
Oh, we're coming back at you.
They were $1, by the way, those rooms. $1. All right, getting ready for the restart. Once again, it's Allgaier, the control car on the outside, Allmendinger on the inside. Allgaier again does not have a good restart. Allmendinger beats him out of the zone. Now a big run by Allgaier. Right to the back bumper of Allmendinger. Chandler Smith running in the 3rd spot. Cole Custer, Almirola top 5.
No sunshine left on the racetrack anywhere, Rick. So we talked about the sun setting. Well, that has happened. The track will continue to cool. Should add grip. Will change the balance and the handling of some of these race cars.
We'll be keeping our eye on the 8 of Sammy Smith to make sure that front end damage, see how it affects the handling of his race car. There's Parker Kligerman, oh so close to getting his first ever Xfinity Series win a week ago. There's the 8 of Sammy Smith. Patriotic 27 of Jeff Burton there with the red, white, and blue paint scheme. Ryan Sieg continuing to impress in the 28 today. He's got Brandon Jones closing in on him. Cole Custer with the Ford Performance on board. He'll look to the inside of Chandler Smith to take that spot away. That's for 3rd.
Chandler still fighting back on that outside. Had a conversation with Chandler this morning about his plans for next year. He does not know what he's doing. He is a free agent, and he has no idea what he's going to be doing next year. Tough time of year to not understand it.
A lot of talent behind the wheel of the 81. 2 wins already in 2024.
Really good race car driver, and a young race car driver a lot ahead of him.
Custer looking to the inside again. That momentum of Chandler Smith's going to have him pulling away down Nellis straightaway. That's the backstretch here because of Nellis Air Force Base just off the back of this racetrack.
See the 8 car, Sammy Smith, restarted 11th with that nose damage. He is falling back to 16th, but he is still falling.
Sammy Smith, the only playoff driver that did not earn stage points. So already at a deficit, especially when he started at the bottom of the list. Dylan.
Well, Jeff and Steve, you guys were right. It didn't take long for Sammy Smith to voice his displeasure with what he's dealing with right now. This was the recent radio a couple laps ago.
Oh, man. That was a good 3 and 4 roll at the bottom. Just stay focused here. So I 1 now, back bottom.
You can hear the exasperation in his voice, and this all started earlier. They lost a bunch of track position in stage 1 on a restart and have not been able to get their way back forward. They were kind of in that mess, and now they got collected in something else. So it's gone from bad to worse for the 8.
That's just the example of, you know, sometimes, and I am guilty of this, you just don't want to believe it. You want to think, man, I don't think the damage is that bad. It's going to be okay. He was running 11th. You know, perhaps should have came down pit road, repaired the nose, taped up. Now, I don't know if it would have been any better, but you saw the focus on top of the pit box. I would bet that all of those crew members are looking at some high resolution images that all the manufacturers provide to the different race teams of seeing exactly what the damage is. But now with 91 laps to go, there's more than enough time to recover from this. But now yellows, they need some cautions to bring their car down pit road and not lose much time. But you can see the 8 just doesn't have the pace. I mean, the 26 of Corey Hine easily climbs the banking and goes right around the outside.
This is when leadership matters, Steve. You have a young driver in Sammy Smith, a fairly young crew chief in Philip Bell. This is when a guy like Tyler Mond, the spotter, can kind of be the leader and say, all right, guys, just do not make a bad situation worse. We have what we have. Make as good a lap time as you can. Don't make a mistake, and we'll deal with it when we can. That's all you can do right now.
Steve, we know they need to make at least one more stop because of fuel. In the spring, those stops were actually under green, which is a rarity. Normally you will see a caution that will kind of fall into the windows of what these drivers would need in the Xfinity Series.
And we saw a lot of drivers practice pit road entry in practice. So I think the teams are prepared and expecting green flag pit stops. They can run about 60 laps, so 89 laps to go. We're 29 laps away from the last fuel window opening.
And how about Allmendinger right here? This pace, since he got out in front of Allgaier, I can be honest, I thought Allgaier would be able to just roll in there and get by him, but Allmendinger with this track position, he has good pace. He's the only winless playoff driver. He won here in 2021. This is a great opportunity for this team.
Last 10 races, 10 different winners. There have been 16 different winners in the Xfinity Series this year, with drivers like A.J. Allmendinger and Brandon Jones, previous winners in the series that haven't won in 2024. The record for different number of winners in a season, the Xfinity Series, is 18. So it can be achieved. Again, there'll be 3 races after this one to complete the season. There's Ryan Sieg in the 28. He's another driver that was oh so close to adding his name to the win list. Texas earlier this year, he was 2/1000ths of a second away from the win at that 1.5 miles. Marty, what about Allgaier running second?
Well, Rick, Jeff brought up a terrific point a moment ago. Really, it's based on the pace that A.J. Allmendinger is laying down. Justin Allgaier came on the radio a moment ago. He said, I'm worried if I am aggressive with my pace like he is, that I will hurt the right front tire. Also, a little bit of debris on the grill for the 7 car. And that's because on the last stop, they pulled off the tires, and we talked about the vibration for Justin Allgaier. Well, this time, the blisters were on the right front tire for Justin Allgaier. And he knows how bad those blisters were. Look at those blisters on that right front tire that came off last time. So, Jeff, as a driver behind the wheel, how cognizant are you of saying, hey, I know I blistered sets of tires on the last 2 sets, the only sets we run all day long, so I want to take it a little bit easy early in the run so I don't have that happen again here in stage 3.
Well, really what I'm doing is I'm asking crew chief, hey, Steve, how many laps are we going to run this set? How many did we have on the next set? Do I need to worry about it? Is it something? And I've got to trust my crew chief to give me that information.
And luckily, only 17 green flag laps on this set. Looking at the math, you know, little concerned about the pace, but I do think, you know, you're not going to have to run many more laps than that set. You see right here of the 7 of Allgaier trying to work the lap traffic to try to get the debris off the grill.
He's used Leland Honeyman a couple times
in
this race to try to do that. Is the gap closing? Maybe just a little bit, under half a second between the 16 and the 7. Pretty consistent.
It actually made it worse, as crazy as that sounds. When he pulled up behind the car to try to get that debris off, it kind of flipped over, and it's actually covering up more space. Now, Steve, as the temperature,
I was going to say,
the temperature's coming down, this might be what you want.
I'm thinking I probably had in my notes coming to this race. Let's talk about adding a piece of tape at the end of stage 2, maybe adding another piece on the green flag pit stop, because as the track does cool, the sun goes down, we want to be as efficient as possible. Maybe this little piece of trash has done the work for me.
You talk about temperatures here in Las Vegas, a little bit cooler than what we would normally expect, 71 degrees outside right now. Marty, what's happening with Allgaier?
Well, I saw Jim Pullman jump down off his pit stand, and he ran over to talk to Alex Yance, the crew chief for A.J. Allmendinger. So, Steve, sometimes the communication happens here on pit road between crew chiefs. They have asked A.J. Allmendinger to back up to the 7, help them get the debris off the grill, and he told him, Jim Pullman told Allgaier, do not pass the 16. He's going to back up to you, let you get the debris off, but do not pass him. So you ever brokered a deal like that on pit road, Steve?
He's lucky I'm not Alex Yance, because I would have said, man, your pit box is over there. We're in the playoffs. If you can catch me to get the trash off, great. But if you want me to back up to you, no chance. There's just no way I would help another playoff driver at this point in the season. You hate to be that way, you know, but it's big-time motorsports. I have to take advantage of everything I can, even the bad luck of the competitors. Let's listen into the 16.
He says he will not pass you. He just wants to get the debris off. Tell him to come catch me then.
Yeah, I mean, I liken this to like the defense saying, hey, could you tell us what the play is that you guys are getting ready to run?
Yeah, I don't like the move. I just don't like it. I mean, I hate it for the 7. You know, and maybe you try to, you know, ask the help will come back your way, but Man, it's just too tough. These races are too tough.
He did offer a trade-off. If you help us, in return, we won't pass you. That was the peace offering, but I'm with you, Steve.
When is that like all day?
I'm ready to say, yeah, how long does that go?
And look, I don't trust them. Like, I don't trust anybody. I've done this long enough to know they're going to lie to me. And he's caught. Here he is caught the 16. Let's see if it pulls that debris off.
Both of us down now.
And let's see if he stays behind him.
Wipe it off. I can't freaking get any closer.
Well, I think that's probably Allmendinger figuring that he doesn't want him to get too close.
They ain't messing around too much. Chandler Smith is going to be there.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care what kind of deal they've brokered.
Yeah, behind him with Ryan Sieg. Ryan's had a lot of pace today.
Listen, Allgaier just said on the radio, forget about it. It's not going to work. 81's catching this. This is not a good idea. So there you see it. The gap building again. Allgaier kind of backing off the bumper of the 16.
So they were worried about the debris on the front of the 7.
Allgaier, Rick, just said the alternator just died on the 7 car. It's down to, I think he said 13, Steve. So now there's an electrical issue on the 7.
Yeah, some of that can be with some overheating at times. The alternator can become less efficient. You heard the radio turn everything off. I mean, this is welcome to the 7 in the playoffs. It's been anything but smooth. This race, with a great race car running second, still a lot of issues.
So Allgaier running second, 0.8 of a second behind Allmendinger. And now they're coming up on some traffic, so Allgaier may try to use that to get rid of the debris.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for him. He should be able to roll right up behind this car. Watch this. It's gone.
It's gone. So the debris goes away. It's off. And that's thanks to Akinori Agata behind the wheel of the 35. Allgaier running second. We'll see if he still has problems, the electrical issues, when we come back. Make sure to shift into high gear with your chance to win an all-access Daytona 500 experience. All you have to do is scan that QR code, or you can visit NASCAR.com/racking-up-the-wins now to enter. As we look back on Parker Kligerman there in the 48. Out in front, A.J. Allmendinger. Jeff, you mentioned earlier he had won at this racetrack back in 21, but has not won this year, and so that would add another name to the list of those who have been to victory lane if he's able to hold on. He's got a long ways to go, 68 to go. Steve, about 8 laps away from the fuel window opening.
Yeah, about 8 laps, and you could pit and then make it to the finish. I think they may run a little longer, try to split these tires up kind of equally. 33 laps on these, so somewhere probably 55 to go, 57 to go. We might see some cars on pit road. That would seem to be a little more conservative in the Xfinity races versus Cup.
Kim.
A.J. Allmendinger currently P1, and you guys talked about this team still looking for their first win of 2024, and that's had effect not just on A.J. the driver, but Alex Youngs, the crew chief, said the entire team has been a little bit down because they haven't visited victory lane. They thought they might have 4 or 5 wins by this point in the season, but they take solace in the fact that they know they are good at this track when it is cooler. He told me that the spring race, they are typically better. Now that the temps are down this weekend, they feel like they could have a race-winning car. P1 right now, Dylan, on the racetrack.
Parker Kligerman not in the playoffs after a tough Roval result last weekend, but still plenty to fight for in his final full-time season of competition. He has really liked his race car all weekend long and said that we've got to be good on the bottom groove, especially at night. I didn't even run the top in practice because I know we've got to be good around the bottom groove, and they are. He has charged through the field here in this final stage, currently runs 6th, and just came on the radio and said, I feel like we've kept up with the racetrack really, really well. 48 car is strong.
It was a sentimental finish to last week's race for Parker Kligerman. Thought he was in position to get the white flag to win that race. It was a situation where we talked to NASCAR and said, you know, why was there such a delay? And they honestly said that they had not seen the car get underneath those tires. It was out of their view, and so that's why it took so long for them to throw that caution. But it was about a fraction of a second before he crossed the start-finish line to receive the white flag that the caution came out, and that means that they had to have a restart, and Parker Kligerman ended up getting past.
This battle right here, Ryan Sieg is faster than Chandler Smith, but Chandler Smith, until right there, has been covering the white line and just not giving Sieg a place to go. Chandler just barely missed it, and Ryan's taking advantage of it.
Impressive run for Ryan Sieg, up to the 3rd spot now. They're still about 4 seconds back from Allmendinger.
I've been impressed with this 28, though. Had a little bit slower pit stop last time, lost some track position. They stayed calm, and here he is back inside the top 3.
And again, the reason Ryan Sieg behind the wheel of the 28, normally we would see him behind the wheel of the 39. But because that is a team car, they want to make sure they get the most points possible for all of their cars. And so Ryan, being the best of the drivers in that group, they decided to put him behind the wheel of the 28 this week. Another driver having a pretty good day today is Daniel Dye behind the wheel of the 10 for Colleague Racing.
20-year-old from Florida is having a good day. The Truck Series announced that he will be in this car full-time next year. So Colleague Racing having a strong night.
Yeah, it's normally been just on the road courses where we've seen SVG have such a dominant performance. But now, as of late, A.J. Allmendinger running well at the Roval, and now putting the 8 car a lap down. So Sammy Smith, one of the playoff drivers, now being scored 1 lap down.
Yeah, damage on that stack up, that restart. The team didn't bring it to pit road to make repairs, thought the damage was insignificant, it would be fine. But this is a car that maybe didn't have winning speed earlier, but they were definitely a top 5, top 7 car. Here they are going a lap down.
Yeah, remember Jesse Love, he was in that same incident. They did come down pit road and fix that race car, and he has gotten back up to 10th place. So 2 different approaches, and If Philip Bell had to do that over, he would do something different. But Steve, you said it. It's, you know, you hate to give up that track position, and it's just hard to convince yourself that's what you need to do.
Myatt Snyder right in front of the 8 in that 0-7. Kind of a last-minute opportunity for Myatt to drive this car. It's good to see Myatt back behind the wheel in the Xfinity Series. A winner, won at Miami before, so he knows how to run at these mile-and-a-halves.
Let's listen in on the 7 radio of Allgaier.
I'm back to 13.3.
Leave it off for a little while before we try and turn anything on. Let it recover.
Copy. You adding tape?
One piece, one small piece.
Bro, I can't. You cannot.
So it sounds like that now that the temperature or the debris is off the front, or I'm assuming it's temperature related things, so the 7, it started to charge a little bit better, but some debate on whether they should add some tape. The 81, Chandler Smith on pit road.
And he's the first of the leaders to make their final stop. They worked on the balance all night on this race car. Chandler's latest feedback, our lateral grip is really good. I could just use a little bit more front turn, 4 tires and fuel, and look like a piece of tape on the 81.
This is a big strategy play. I mean, 43 laps on this set, 58 to go. So math would say they should run 5 or 6, 7 more laps, but they're trying to get the advantage of the new tires. The 00 will also come to pit road. He was just inside the top 10. Herbst follows him. Kim.
And this car has not been at what it was at the beginning of the race. Cole complaining that it just gets tighter and tighter, cannot turn like he wants to as he makes his way down pit road. Crew chiefs reminding their drivers, pit road very slick. The first stops we're seeing under green, they're going to take 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel for Cole Custer as you see the chassis adjustment to free him up, Marty.
Kim, after a strong stage 1, not so good in stage 2 and 3 for Riley Herbst, but not too bad either. The car just still a little bit too free for Riley. You saw the chassis adjustment right there. Justin Allgaier coming down pit road. Yes, after that tape debate they had on the radio, I mean, Pullman said we're going to add tape, and Allgaier said, really? We're going to add tape? After having temperature issues twice today, the car just a little bit too free for Justin Allgaier, Dylan.
Eric Almirola has been in and amongst the top 10 all evening long, but not so happy on this run. Just said he was losing rear lateral, easy for me to say, and it was hard to trust the rear tires. They'll change tires and add fuel as well, Marty.
Dylan, it's been a rough outing for Sam Mayer. The car way too free here in stage 3. They've been encouraging him to run the bottom of the racetrack because that's where he needs to be when the car's free like that, Kim.
AJ Allmendinger looking for a really good stop. He said there's a little movement in the rear of the race car, but just a little snug in the front, slight air pressure adjustment as they put on Goodyear tires and take that Sunoco fuel, Marty.
It's been a rough night for Austin Hill and his race team. He said the entry is better. We fixed part of that, but still way too tight in the center. And he said if I go back to the gas, it just completely slides the nose from corner exit off. So sort of the last of those who were pitting here in the playoffs as Allgaier gets a spot back from Chandler Smith on the racetrack.
Well, that spot matters because they're trying to run down the 16 of Allmendinger, who's going to be blending off pit road on the backstretch. These Xfinity cars take a little bit of time to get up to speed, but you see the car, bottom of the screen, the white car, white hood, 16 of Allmendinger. Even though he ran the extra lap, he did okay, and I really think it comes down to traffic. The 7 and the 81 were racing each other, holding each other up, and here once again the 7 with a swerve. Allgaier's decision-making in traffic has been un-Allgaier-like today. Once again, another swerve behind the 2. So, you know, I like the 16's call to run an extra lap. I like the 7's call to come a lap early, but they just didn't have that clean out lap. They got racing with the 81, cost them a chance to flip the 16 on the strategy.
The 7 was 2 seconds behind Allmendinger when those pit stops started, and it's a larger gap than that.
And it should go the other way.
Exactly.
Right?
With the 7 pitting earlier, he should have come out and lowered that gap, but instead, because of that traffic that you spoke about, Allgaier actually stretched it out. I'm sorry, Allmendinger stretched it out.
And you see cars that have yet to pit. Love, Sieg, Williams, Snyder, Smith. Perfect world for them. As the caution comes out right now, they could service their car into yellow.
And remember, we saw Sammy Smith go a lap down, but because he's staying out on the racetrack, is in front of those that were up front, meaning Allgaier, and Allmendinger. Now, Myatt Snyder has made his way to pit road. Jesse Love also coming to pit road, we see. Kim.
And Jesse Love pitting from the lead. Pretty good rebound for him after getting a hole in the nose from one of those earlier incidents. He said he was a little bit loose, especially on exit, but wants no adjustments on this stop. So the call is going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, and again, no adjustments for rookie Jesse Love.
Sammy Smith in the 8th. You see him falling back behind Allgaier and Chandler Smith now. As that service continues for Jesse Love.
Impressed with this 81 car. Really struggled at the start of this race. Did not like his car at all. They've made some good changes to it.
Josh Williams, the only one still that has not come to pit road that's at the top of this list here. And now he is on pit road. So he gives the lead up, and Allmendinger back out in front. 50 to go from Las Vegas. Can he hang on and get win number 1 of 2024? Coming up next, it's an offensive showdown in Corvallis as high-scoring UNLV takes on tough-minded Oregon State. UNLV, Oregon State coming up next only on the CW. And yeah, that's Nellis Air Force Base just off the backstretch here of Las Vegas Motor Speedway, home to the Thunderbirds. Always get some nice flybys when we're here at the racetrack. The 8 back on pit road, Dylan.
and they just made a full stop, changed tires and fuel, but now they are fixing that damage, which they obviously waited to repair until now from that earlier incident on the restart. But under green, this is just going to kill their track position and cost them a lot of time, but they got to get it fixed up as best they can just to try to make it work for this final 43 laps. There you see Fairmont on the right front, and the 8 car is down and away.
Dylan, it looked like they were putting fuel in through the basically the air clean area that fills the carburetor. Did the 8 run out of gas? Is that why they took the extra time for the tape? Because it seemed like it was a little bit last minute on the repairs. Maybe they were out of fuel.
I'll go check on that, Steve, but I think they just knew they had to get this fixed because they weren't going to go forward anymore, but I'll go double check for you.
Yeah, just a frustrating time in management, and as a crew chief, it's easy to pick on someone when you decide wrong. I've been on the wrong side, the right side of these decisions, but we talk a lot about the younger drivers in the Xfinity Series. This is also a place for crew members and crew chiefs. These are life lessons you learn because you do choose the wrong side. You assume it's not going to be as bad as it was. This 8 car is still in the playoffs. They still have good speed. Today may not work out. They're going to leave here a ways behind, but with Miami and Martinsville, you never know if they can advance. What'd you find out, Dylan?
You were right again, Steve. The 8 did run out of fuel, but just spoke with Mike Bumgarner as well, who oversees all 4 of these junior motorsports cars. He said the damage was too bad, so we needed to fix it anyways, but they did run out of fuel, so your eyes were right there.
So I had a little cheat on it. I thought they were out of gas. If you take a look at the pit stop again, there's going to be a gentleman that comes over with a squirt bottle full of fuel. And what happens is there's a little tube from the cowl that goes down into the carburetor that fills the bowls of the carburetor up to allow the car to fire. So look, basically normal pit stop over here, but you're going to be looking in this area of the car right here, just at the base of the window. So the guy goes back after the tear off, right side's done, and then they know they have an issue, so they're going to change the left side, and they start working on the tape because now the car is out of gas. Tire changer does this, and you're going to see as the repairs continue. So they're really just doing repairs because they're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then look up in this area right here. A crew member is going to actually add fuel to the car. There's the squeeze bottle. Now the frustrating part is that fuel should have been going in a long, long time ago. This is something that should have been done as soon as the car shut off. So they're going to lose a couple laps just trying to get the car refueled.
11 had some issues on pit road just a minute ago. Oh my.
Oh boy, yeah. You got to leave that. That's going to be tight. That's not going to. I mean, these are the
cap's got to be on.
These are the mistakes. When you watch those Nick Saban videos of him losing his mind in practice about the details, these are the things that as a crew chief you lose your mind on. If you're the fueler, it is inexcusable for the cap of the dump can to come loose.
And that's where you fill the fuel into.
Correct.
Right? So
correct. You don't take you used to take the dump can apart and fill it through the top. But now you don't do all that. There's just a fill cap. It's as simple as it comes. If anybody's ever filled a jet ski, it's basically the same style cap. It's not that hard.
Why did it take us 50 years to put a cap on the fuel?
Yeah, exactly.
It seemed like a simple solution.
Well, while all of that was happening, A.J. Allmendinger has put 3 seconds now between himself and Allgaier. Remember, before the stops, it was 2 seconds. Added a second to that. Ryan Sieg running 3rd. Chandler Smith is 4th. Riley Herbst in 5th right now. Let's talk a little bit about these playoff drivers. We'll go through the field. We'll start with you, Kim.
Yeah, A.J. Allmendinger currently in the lead, looking for his first win of 2024. When I spent time with the team yesterday, I kind of asked their outlook on this round, and they said, if we get our stuff right, this round could be absolutely great for us. Crew Chief Alex Jones told me we're either hitting on a great setup this year or missing it awfully, and it's really slow. Seems like they have hit on the right setup here this weekend. Again, we've mentioned multiple times looking for the first win of 2024. Marty, if they were to get the win here, likely the most important win of any driver this season so far.
Kim and NASCAR Countdown Live. Brad Daugherty asks the question, which Justin Allgaier shows up for the round of 8? Answers so far, the Allgaier who almost won the regular season title. They have been very impressive today despite several moments of adversity. So far, they've earned the most points sitting in 2nd right now, Dylan.
Toyota driver update checks us in with Chandler Smith, who runs in the 4th spot. Told me earlier this week, and this place has always clicked for me. Results certainly speak to that as well. But they are on pace for their 7th straight top 5 finish. This has just been a remarkable stretch for this 81 car. Chandler said, we're doing things right, but it does not get any easier from here. We have to keep stepping up our game, and they have today with the car that wasn't perfect early on, Kim.
And Dylan, defending champion Cole Custer, currently in the 6th position. They were hoping to replicate the weekend SHR had here last fall when Riley Herbst, his teammate, won the race. If you remember, Cole finished 3rd, won a stage, and led 62 laps in the race last fall. Hasn't quite been that situation after a heroic first stage. Remember, he took tires, restarted 15th, and then finished that stage first, winning the stage. It just has not been the rest of the race he has wanted. That car has gone extremely tight, so have not set up the car for these cooler temperatures, ending the race under night. As we jump to the 9th place running car, Jesse Love, this driver, what a rebound after being caught up in part of that incident, had a hole in the nose. They repaired that. Crew Chief Danny Stockman told his driver, it is not going to affect you. I promise you, we can finish this race strong. And when I spoke with Jesse earlier this week on what his thoughts were, what would happen if he didn't move on to the championship four, he said, you know, I've never lost a championship on pavement when I've run a series full time. It would be an absolute disappointment. We are trying to show up and get ourselves into championship contention in Phoenix, Marty.
Kim, considering that Austin Hill had won at Las Vegas before and finished 4th here just 7 months ago, this is not the night they expected for RCR and the 21 team. The good news is they have made the car a little bit better. Hill turning some pretty decent lap times right now, sitting in the 12th position. Kind of a very similar story for Sam Mayer. When I talked to him, he said, honestly, this track is the one I'm most worried about.
We got a spinner on the front stretch here. Sorry about that, Marty, but the 39 of Kyle Sieg has spun through the grass and brought out the caution. He was coming off of turn 4. Both right side tires down on that one.
14 cars in the lead lap right now.
Dang it.
You hear the frustration behind the wheel. You mentioned it, Rick, the driver swap or number swap, however you look at it, between the Sieg brothers. It's a business decision, trying to get owners points in certain situations that help them. In the beginning of next year, in the first 3 races, if we have rain, it will help qualifying as well. Let's see what happens with 39, Jeff.
There's Kyle Sieg just trying to get some pace, and back end just comes around.
So you had mentioned it, 14 cars in the lead lap. All the leaders should have an extra set of tires in the pits, I believe.
Started with 4 sets, 3 Lang.
Yeah, so there you go. Everybody has stickers left. If you have them, now's the time. Now's the time. You cannot wait. Remember earlier we were on board with the 00. Now they had a few more laps on his tires, but he drove all the way up and won that stage. Just made it look so easy for Cole Custer. I think there would be a question mark if we hadn't seen that earlier. But after seeing that, there's just no way you can sit and wait on this last set of tires. I think you have to take them. Now, there is a Hail Mary. If you are, say, Brandon Jones or somebody with this fewer cars in the lead lap, maybe you don't take your tires now. We run 15 laps and we get another yellow. But that would be really excellent timing. And if you go the wrong way and you don't get it, you're going to finish 15th. So I think everybody's just going to pit.
Now this puts a lot of pressure, as we heard from Kim earlier, on the crew members.
Well, for me, the crew I have circled is the pit crew of the 28 of Ryan Sieg. I think Ryan Sieg has maybe the best car here tonight. He's been very patient, Jeff, with the playoff cars. You mentioned that battle with the 81, the battle with the 7, as he's passed these guys. Tons of respect. Last time down pit road, they lost 3 or 4 spots. They don't have to gain 1 or 2, but if they can get him off pit road in the front 2 rows, I would love to see Ryan Sieg have a shot at this.
Ryan Sieg had made his way up to 2nd behind Allmendinger.
Yeah, we were. Here's a 16 car. How many cars are between Ryan Sieg and this 16? That matters about spacing coming on to pit road. The 16 can get down pit road before the 28 car is able to close that gap, then it's a major advantage. The guys on the outside lane, they'll pull up and pull as far forward as they can to allow that 28 car to close that gap.
All guy being very aggressive with that move right there.
Yeah, the rule is you can't pull up to pit. However, if people start giving you that spot, then you can get real aggressive on him, but CC is just afraid to do it. Here he comes.
There he is.
Closing that gap. Gets within 2 car lengths.
Dylan.
Chandler Smith pits from 4th, said the race car is exactly where it needs to be. Only request is maybe just a little bit more front turn on throttle. They'll put their last set of sticker Goodyears on, 4 tires and fuel, Kim.
As you see AJ Allmendinger, the leader in the middle right there. He's going to turn it. Ryan Sieg will actually pit behind him, but right now AJ saying the car is the best to spin all night. They'll take 4 fresh Goodyear tires on this stop, Marty.
Justin Allgaier said, whatever we do, we have to take out the last air pressure adjustment you did. Jim Coleman going to oblige with that request. Only a little bit of fuel, but 4 fresh Goodyear tires. And we'll see, as you see AJ Allmendinger flash by and a few other cars flash by Justin Allgaier. They'll lose a few spots here on pit road.
Great job by that 21 crew. Held that second place position to your point, Jeff. I'm sorry, 28 crew. I'm so used to saying the 21 is a good pit crew. It just came out anyway.
Yeah, very impressive. We'll see if Ryan Sieg could finish the deal once they get back out there. Restart coming up next. Your favorite driver during the playoffs and take advantage of amazing deals at the NASCAR shop. Check out the greatest selection of t-shirts, die casts, and much more. Visit NASCAR.com/shop. There's a few people shopping. That sphere is amazing. Good shot of that from the helicopter above the track here as we get ready for the choose, and coming up on 26 laps remaining.
Because every car in the lead lap pitted, there was a whole bunch of wave around, so a bunch of cars back in the lead lap. That matters because it involves some playoff cars. And if you have an issue as a playoff car, now there's going to be more guys that will go by you.
8 cars waved around to get back in the lead lap. So imagine if we run, I don't know, 15 laps and get a caution, they could come in and get tires. They still have a set lane.
And the leaders don't. So now, you know, I don't think you could drive through to win the race, but your day could turn around very quickly.
How about the 16 choosing the inside line, Jeff?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think you got to choose. I prefer the outside on 1.5 miles with Xfinity cars, but a lot of it has to do with what kind of push you get and what happens behind you. So far today, we've seen cars get really aggressive on the inside line. I think if you're Allmendinger, number one, you have to get a great launch. Number two, you better be looking in your mirror. If you see someone coming from behind to try to drive underneath you, you have to put a big block on, but you have to do it before they start to move. If you go to block after, it's too late. So to me, picking the inside puts you in that position where you have to block. If you pick the outside, you're not in that position. But don't trust A.J. Allmendinger knows what he's doing. He's won enough races to prove it to me.
Yeah, big prize at the end of this one if you're a playoff driver. Because if you're one of the 8 playoff drivers and win, you are locked in to the championship 4 in Phoenix. That gives you a couple extra weeks to prepare for that championship race. It'll be 25 to go from Vegas. Allmendinger on the inside, Ryan Sieg on the outside.
You get that kind of jump, it doesn't matter what line you pick. Great start by Allmendinger.
Chandler Smith following. And Smith will take that second spot away. Here comes Parker Kligerman also to the inside of Ryan Sieg, but Sieg now trying to get some momentum. Here comes Riley Herbst. The 98, that monster 98 coming up on the inside. He's running 5th.
That move kind of pulled the 48 back right on corner entry and allowed the 28 to get away. You mentioned that jump. 28 just looked like he was spinning the rear tires, couldn't really get accelerated. Now Chandler Smith has Allmendinger right out in front. Oh, the 28 though, that third car in line. He likes that 80 run in the second lane. Clean air on the nose. 24 laps is not a short run either. You're gonna have to kind of get clear, but then settle in, take care of your tires a little bit. Some sparks off the left front of the 28 right there on the apron of the racetrack.
Saw it out of the 16 as well. Look at the one of Sam Mayer all the way down on the apron.
Leaves the bottom, and Sam Mayer is, all right, you're going to give it to me, I'll take it.
Yeah, he took it all right. Way up the racetrack goes the 20.
That's just a great example of this late in the race, people are going to take it, and you just cannot give that white line up when you're running the bottom.
28 of Ryan Sieg, I'm talking about his patience. He's trying, oh, this is great right here. He's got the 81 off the bottom of the racetrack. He's got to make this pass. If he wants to have a chance to win this race, he needs to get to second right here. What a good job by the 28 of not overdriving that middle, Jeff, keeping that left front connected to the line.
Yeah, we've seen Ryan Sieg. When their car is fast, it is way fast, and he gives himself an opportunity to win races. A lot of people are like, where did the speed come from? They have an alliance with Stewart Haas. There are races where Sieg has winning pace, and this is one of them.
One of his old crew chiefs, Kevin Cowboy Starlin, told me years ago, probably 10 years ago, he thought Ryan Sieg was one of the more talented drivers he has ever worked with. And he worked with the likes of Carl Edwards. He's worked with some great drivers. And he said that Ryan Sieg might have as much talent as anybody he's ever worked with. And we're seeing it a lot this year.
Think about, you know, the heartbreak from earlier in the year. If he could come back and win here, I know he's not a playoff car, but I don't think Ryan Sieg will care.
Yeah.
He's going to have a heck of a celebration.
We talked about how close it was. 2/1000th of a second. Ryan Sieg being in the playoffs. That's him in the 39. And Sam Mayer at the line edges him out by inches, mere inches.
Just unbelievable.
And had so much speed in that race, and this was late and clearly frustrated.
Parker Kligerman on the inside in the 48 with Riley Herbst in the 98 going by. Herbst, a Vegas native. Noah Gregson, also a Vegas native, and a lot of pictures going around of those two growing up together at the racetracks, kind of cutting their teeth.
Oh yeah, big lap by the 28. Jeff, I saw you pointing at the screen. You wanted to confirm what we saw out the window, which is that the 28 has taken 3 or 4 car lengths off the lead of the 16.
Major speed over in 3 and 4 that last lap. Let's see if Sieg can do it again this lap. Corner entry speed is way quicker than Allmendinger. This has been a good race for Colleague and Allmendinger. They have not won a race this year except for on road courses. They just have not had winning pace at 1.5 miles, and right now does not have the pace that Sieg has.
Can you imagine, Jeff, 37 years old, 363 starts in the Xfinity Series, still looking for that first win. I don't know if you're going to win one. Vegas is quite the town to do it in. I think it might be a big night for Ryan Sieg and this group if he could pull it off.
His team might not leave Vegas until they have to go to Miami.
I agree. Straight to Miami from here.
Yeah. And the gap closes again. Ryan Sieg is coming. 16 laps. Now can he get past him once he gets there? He's been so strong.
Well, think about what's on the line right here for the 16 of Allmendinger. He wins this race. He is going to Phoenix with a chance to win a championship. There can be nothing more motivating than that.
The question is, can you afford to wreck? I mean, you've had a great points day. You've scored 16 stage points. I mean, are you willing to beat and bang if you do get side by side?
We're getting ready to find out.
Yes. Yeah, it's happening quickly.
Now, as the 28 gets closer to the 16, it's going to become more difficult because he's starting to get air taken away from his car. So Ryan Sieg is going to have to find a little something different. He's going to run the fastest line for him until he proves it won't work. Because what he wants to do is he wants to get to that rear bumper of the 16, take the air off of his car, and then drive underneath him. But if Allmendinger can maintain pace and Sieg can't catch him, then Sieg is going to be forced to try something different.
My little concern with the 16 is his car's driving so good, he makes this big late arc. What I don't like about that is watch this 28 car. He gets about 2 feet lower sooner, and that's why he carries the entry speed, because the 16 just doesn't shut the air off. A little bit quicker to the bottom there. To your point, Jeff, at some point, Allmendinger has to run more of a defensive line, get to the bottom maybe a little earlier.
I think for right now, though, I think the 16 running that a little bit later arc, I think that's an advantage, Steve, because the 28 of Sieg, as this run goes on, there you go, an adjustment. That's the first adjustment that he's made.
Oh, and I like it. I think it's going to work. He's going to have a little momentum on corner exit. So just in his first attempt, now Allmendinger's going to be guessing when he gets to 1 and 2 what lane he should be running.
If Sieg has to keep turning earlier than the 16, getting in the corner, that works okay on new tires. But as the tires get older and get hot, now he's stressing those tires and abusing them.
Kim, you've got some more on Ryan Sieg.
Yeah, great drive by Ryan Sieg. A couple things to remember as we look at the pace of this race car. They have an alliance with Stewart-Haas Racing, and we know how strong that team has been here with Riley winning this race last year. Cole finished second in the spring. And then in addition to that, this car he's running, we talked about Ryan Sieg being so close to his first career win back at Texas Motor Speedway. This is the car from Texas. So what redemption would it be if he won here at Vegas with the car he almost won at back at Texas?
And look at this, a little different line. And is it going to help him on corner exit?
It has. Allmendinger's gotten slow middle exit. He cannot carry pace on corner exit. The problem starts in the middle of the corner. Watch this.
Car length separating the two.
Watch the 28 gain on exit.
The 16 left the bottom early. Here he comes, Rick.
Going into turn 1. Allmendinger out wide and right down to the bottom, but we see Sieg staying in the middle of the track now. How will it work out as he goes down the backstretch? Nellis straightaway, is that going to be the sight?
I'd like to see the 28 run the bottom again.
Oh, he does, and he's patient on entry. Doesn't overdrive the entry on the 28.
Yep, here it is. Here he comes.
For the lead, Sieg. He's to the door. Noses in front. Ryan Sieg led that lap. Allmendinger fighting back on the outside. Oh, and Sieg is loose. Up the racetrack he goes, and he loses at least 5 car lengths.
All right, so Allmendinger now knows that Sieg's car is loose. He's a little bit free with the back of the car, so you cannot let him get on the outside of you.
Was it the bumps also? Is one that potentially got him?
I think it's the bumps, but primarily I think it's the air being pulled off the side of his car when he drove underneath the 16 of Allmendinger.
Is there time left? Are 8 laps enough for the 28 to get there? And will the 7 catch as the 8 rolls slow on the racetrack?
Yeah, could there be a restart if the 8 doesn't get back to pit road?
That's off turn 2. I don't think he's going to get back.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of lap traffic in front of the 16. If this 8 does not make it back, it'll be a caution, which that's to where it's leaning.
I'm not going to make it.
Smith, you just heard him. I'm not going to make it. Now, 7 laps to go. Allmendinger with a 0.3 of a second advantage. But that's going away. Here comes Ryan Sieg. Smith still very slow on the bottom of the track, and the caution will come out. There'll be a restart. We saw Allmendinger, the last restart was great. Will there be enough time for Ryan Sieg to challenge for this win?
What a disappointing day for the 8.
Playoff driver Sammy Smith brings the caution out. He was scored 3 laps down in 29th.
And remember, he won Talladega just a few races ago to lock himself in the first round of this playoff. Just not good at all.
Ryan Sieg got where he needed to be, right? He was patient. He was running the 16 down. NASCAR is going to have some questions on why the 8 couldn't get refired.
Yeah.
And also remember, we told the story about all those drivers that took the wave around. Those that didn't get lapped, now they have tires.
Right.
So they're going to come on pit road right now. Can they be a factor in this race? If you get a series, I don't know that somebody can come from 14th or 15th.
Agreed.
But if you get a couple cautions and those guys have new tires, they can play a role. Dylan.
It was a voltage issue on the 8 car, and Sammy was as surprised as everyone that he got it refired. He said, "You want me to stay out? I got it refired." Philip Bell said, "No, come down to pit road. We're several laps down. We got to just figure out what the issue is." So their plan was to change the battery and send him back out. I'm not sure if they did that already or not, but that's at least the report from the 8 for now.
Remember, the 7 had some voltage issues earlier, so it's a couple of Junior Motorsports cars. And here are all those cars you talked about, Jeff, that took the wave around. They have a set of tires left. They'll come get them now.
Daniel Dye at the front of that list in the 10. So this is where the 28 gets a little bit loose here in 1 and 2.
Watch the 16. Watch what A.J. Allmendinger does. Actually, he was very respectful. I thought he probably got a little closer to the 28, but he never changed his lane. Just the 28 is just loose.
Wasn't down on the white line through 1 and 2. Yeah, frustration there.
It is so difficult, Rick, when you're driving that car and you drive underneath somebody and you get loose. It is a handful.
This is that last restart, and you saw it maybe spin the tires a little bit there for Ryan Sieg. Just got a little bit squirrely.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. So the 28 coming into this restart zone. Remember, you know, a lot of experience, but not a lot of experience on the front row. And it restarts very differently. So the 16 was the control car. The 16 has the right to accelerate between line 1 and line 2 in the restart zone. And I think Allmendinger did a nice job, and I think Sieg just got a little aggressive with the throttle. And once you kind of break traction on those rear tires, at that point you just can't get them hooked back up. You're behind, Jeff. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, so let's look at it again. So Allmendinger, he launches late in the restart zone, which I would have thought was an advantage to the 28.
But I think he's taking advantage of the 28's inexperience on the front row. I think if that is Riley Herbst or another driver that runs up there, I think they roll up onto Allmendinger. I don't think he wants to go late like that.
I think he made it easier for Ryan Sieg. Because remember, the rule is once you get to that first line, the leader of the race can start. But by the time you get to that second line, then the flagman starts to race. So I think for Sieg, in that situation, the 16 waited so long to go. Now Sieg knows, hey, he's got to go here. I always feel like if I'm Allmendinger, I do the exact opposite.
Go right away.
I give him something different to think about. I don't
still
show
like the bottom
same thing.
Yeah, I know you haven't been team bottom yet today.
I don't. I just don't think you can. I don't know.
We got him stammering, Rick. He's not willing to commit.
I want the top. I want a top. I want to control the pace on the top.
All right, if you're the 7, you have to follow Allmendinger, right? Wherever the leader goes, if you're the 7, you have to.
Well, I want to go, if I'm the 7 of Allmendinger and my car drives good on the outside, I'm going to go the outside. I'm going to go wherever my car drives the best because I'm going to be in the second row regardless.
For Allgaier, you mean?
Allgaier.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right. They're getting ready to choose. You know, Custer went from 15th to 1st in 4 laps. That was earlier in this race because of those fresh tires. Daniel Dye, well, he's 17th. He's going to have the freshest tires.
So you have to remember the 16 also knows that the 28 is loose. He knows he's looser underneath him because he saw him almost wreck on the bottom of the racetrack. So let's see what Allmendinger does. He's going to go to the bottom.
He takes the bottom again.
Allgaier goes with him. So now, we talked about it earlier, Allmendinger did such a great job of getting that first launch that he didn't have to defend anything from behind. Marty.
Let's chat with Matt Noyce. Can Ryan Sieg pull it off? What did you kind of walk him through to maybe get a better restart this time, Matt?
You know, we struggled the restarts a little bit. We just got to limit our wheel space, got to get through the gears better, and we may have got pushed a little too hard that last restart, so hopefully we got the 81 behind us now. We got a little bit cleaner push. Do what we can do now.
There you go. So, Steve, I walked up and I told Matt, I said, hey, how are your nerves? He said, not great. I am so nervous right now because we have a real shot to win this thing. And I honestly believe, in his opinion, Steve, the best car.
You know, Marty, we take for granted at times, we talk about the playoffs and the championship, and that is the focus in the postseason. But, Jeff, you remember winning your first. I mean, there's just nothing like this opportunity, not just for Ryan Sieg, but all of the crew members on this team that worked tireless hours. They now have this chance. They were the same group that nearly won at Texas, right? They've rode the same roller coaster of emotion.
And he knows it. He knows that every one of those guys, he knows that they want this win as bad, if not more, than he does.
Steve, you mentioned it earlier. This is Ryan Sieg's 364th start without a win. Jeremy Clements holds the record for the most starts before he got his first win. That was at 256. Here we go. A better start for Sieg and a big push from Allgaier into the back of Allmendinger. 3 miles to go in the race. Now, here comes Sieg again.
That was as good of a restart as you could hope for Allmendinger.
But Sieg's coming. He's got to be near his rear bumper, the white flag. Can he make magic on the final lap?
2 car lengths separate the top 2. 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank. He'll have 1 shot at it. A great 1 and 2 for Ryan Sieg. Down the backstretch they go for the final time. Is he close enough to get there? To the bottom of the track. Through 3 and 4. Allmendinger. He's got the advantage. Allmendinger will not be denied. He'll win at Vegas. The first of the playoff drivers to lock themselves in. Now he will race for a championship in Phoenix. What an advantage.
Go win a championship. Happy birthday, Matt.
Great day to win your first race of the year.
Yes, it is.
You heard him say happy birthday, Matt. That's Matt Collin, team owner. His birthday. Chris Rice,
that's not
president.
Matt
No, but that's who he was referencing. There's Chris Rice, fired up.
And the streak continues for A.J. Allmendinger. We had shown a statistic earlier over the past 5-6 years. He's won multiple races during the season, and it's come now 4 races from the end of this season, and he was still winless. But that all changes today. I wonder if Arrow is here. I know that was one of the big things that AJ's been talking about. His son, born a year ago, and was hoping that he would be able to celebrate in Victory Lane with his wife Tara and Arrow. down there to enjoy the celebration with them is Kim.
Yeah, celebrating with his team. He's going to chug a Celsius. Man, it has been a test of a season for you and this 16 bunch. You finally get the first one of the season. When it matters the most, what's the emotion right now for you?
I absolutely love these guys and girls at College Racing. Been such up and down, but what I love about them is we stick together, we keep fighting. First of all, happy birthday, Matt Collard. The boss's birthday. I told you I was getting you a trophy, baby. Let's go, man, I love you! Come on, come on! I love you, Tara, Arrow, my mom and dad, my whole family, all my family and friends. They see how much I care, and I put it on myself. Oh man, this modern day garage Chevy was absolutely hooked up. As fast as Xfinity internet. Thank you guys for all you do for this sport, Xfinity. Celsius, Action Industries, leaf filter gutter protection. There's a lot more I'm forgetting. It's, God, what a way to get to Phoenix after a year that we've had. Let's go win a championship, let's go!
That's the kind of energy you want to see from a race winner. This team now has 2 extra weeks to prepare for a championship run at Phoenix.
So important for playoff drivers to gain that advantage. And it happens right here at the very first race of the round of 8. And he had to hold off one of the best cars in Ryan Sieg, and he did just that. A.J. Allmendinger has locked himself into the championship 4. He's won at Vegas again.
Boy, Las Vegas delivers for A.J. Allmendinger. It's a ticket to the Championship 4 in Phoenix for Ryan Sieg. He gets heartbreak once again. Boy, Ryan, if you didn't have that last caution, do you think you would have won this race?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We had the best car on the longer run, and I needed a longer run. And we was getting there, and I just overdrove one and then got loose and lost some of our track position. But I was able to gain it back, and just sucks to finish the second again with a great car like we had earlier in Texas. Just one of these days is going to go our way. Just they got to thank SciOps for it, and we brought a car almost as fast as an Xfinity Internet, but we didn't get in victory lane.
What a gutting performance for Ryan Sieg in this race team. Second again, Rick, but so impressive.
Yeah, definitely impressive, and I think it's just a matter of time. Let's take a look at the playoff standings. One race into this round. Allmendinger in yellow. He's locked himself into the Championship 4. Again, at least one driver will be in based on points. Allgaier, Cole Custer, Chandler Smith above that cut line now. All right. Does advantage go to A.J. Allmendinger?
Got a lot of time to be ready.
Well, for more Xfinity Series coverage, log on to CWTV.com. Coming up next, UNLV, Oregon State.
And welcome. Don't be mistaken, always put forth 110% in. Years of blood, sweat, tears, I'm winning. I try my best in everything I've done. Yeah, I'm in control of my heart and soul. So if you wanna go up to the top, you may only get one shot. And if there's no shot at the top, always give everything you've got.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.